Nobody likes the idea of a Winter World Cup. Here we are in a World Cup year. In a normal circumstance, in about 6 weeks, we'd be getting in front of our TV, maybe making travel plans to go to Qatar if you're one of the lucky ones, to watch World Cup games. But now what are we going to do this summer? I don't know. Maybe just have a nice trip. Go out with your family. Go to a national park. Go visit Mexico. But you're not going to watch the World Cup. And now you have to do it in the wintertime where you have so much stuff going on, and Thanksgiving and the holidays, Christmas shopping, and I got to try and watch World Cup. It doesn't make any sense. I'm really blown away that they've been able to pull this off. Because when it was pitched, we laughed it off. And then they said, no, we're going to do it. All the leagues had to adjust, reshuffle their fixture lists and schedules to make it work, finish earlier, start different times. It's a logistical nightmare. This is inconveniencing everyone. That said, thank goodness the World Cup is happening in November and December and not June, because from the United States perspective, it's a mess. It's a big mess. In fact, when we look at Americans abroad, it is pretty bleak. What are we going to do? We're in the World Cup. That's great. But we want to perform. We want to get results. We want to advance to the round of 16. We want to make a quarterfinal. I think that's probably the ceiling for this time around, which would be amazing. If you're ranked in the top 15 with the United States you're supposed to make the round of 16. As it stands right now, we'll document it all. The U.S. isn't making the round of 16. But thankfully, as they're going down on their curve, hopefully timing is right, and by November, all is well. And today on The Soccer OG, check out the Soccer OG podcast, where all podcasts are available. New episode is out now with Brian Sciaretta of America's Soccer Now, also writes for the New York Times. He was one of the originals to document Americans abroad. We'll talk about that phenomenon. We'll talk about the importance of Major League Soccer in developing American players, because they're doing the majority of that now. And we'll talk about music, because he's a big guitar player and he goes to a lot of Fish shows. So check out the podcast and like and subscribe. The Soccer OG here. Check out old videos. They're really good. I highly recommend it. It's all there. Peruse as you will. What's going on? We did have some good news this weekend. Christian Pulisic scoring the game-winning goal for Chelsea. No one more relieved than that Jorginho, who missed a horrible attempt at a penalty. And Pulisic came in and saved the day off the bench. First goal in a month. He has got one start in 7 games. Since March 5th, he has logged a total of 71 minutes. And for Christian Pulisic, I think this is what we've got. He's not in diapers anymore. He's not a teenager. He's in his early 20s, and it's like this, up and down. And it never really blew us out of the water, with a couple exceptions in World Cup qualifying. So are we going to really put all of this pressure on his shoulders? Because it's, with what we've seen from Christian Pulisic, and that goal was great, I don't know if he's ready for that. It's too much of this. Yeah. And it's consistently roller coastering. So I don't want to make bad news out of what was fantastic and, heavily trafficked goal. We all saw it in a massive game against my West Ham United. So at least there's a silver lining that Pulisic scored. So, but Christian Pulisic this is not a success story as we're heading to the final month of the season in the Premier League. Remember, they have to finish early because of the Winter World Cup. That is our guy. I would like to see what happens in the summer. I don't think he's leaving Chelsea. But we've talked about it on this show in the past that it seems like he should. Maybe Chelsea's too big of a club. But there are more consistent players, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, and Christian Pulisic has gone down the pecking order. I can't sit here and say, play him, Thomas Tuchel. He hasn't deserved it. He hasn't. Chelsea's going to want all hands on deck, I am sure. They're going to have huge financial restrictions and constraints. I don't know how it moves. And is he come to a club? No one's going to be paying $50 million transfer fee for Christian Pulisic. Not the way he's playing. An MLS team would like him, but no one's paying that in this league. Could it be somewhere else? It's weird. I think he's there with Chelsea, so I can't imagine. Hopefully he's healthy, because he's been healthy. And it's just the form. So that's one big problem. Another one's Sergino Dest. He was injured. He's come back. Injuries in general are really troubling. Gio Reyna out for the season. He should be back. But the way he's going up and forth, can you rely on him in the World Cup? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not with this injury record this year. 3 injuries. 3 injuries since last September that have just decimated his season. Weston McKennie, the reports are he's coming back sooner than we think, which is great news. But dealing with an injury, I don't worry about Weston McKennie. That's the least of our worries. When he's healthy, he's going to play. Tottenham Hotspur want him. I get very excited, goosebumps, thinking of the prospects of waking up to watch Premier League games with Tottenham Hotspur, and Weston McKennie is playing there. So that's good, but still injured. Chris Richards. We had the foot injury against Canada World Cup quality. He's never come back, and now reports that he is going to, because of a muscular and tendon injury, he's out for the rest of the season for Hoffenheim. Injuries piling up ever. So we'll come back to Sergino Dest because injuries have affected his season. Now he comes back and he starts for Barcelona. He makes a mistake in the game against Rayo Vallecano and he's pulled at the half, which got me so angry because Barcelona misperforming everywhere. And now we get a report that according to Moise ESPN, who's one of the fine reporters who cover Barcelona, he was pulled as punishment for not following the scouting report as he was beaten in the play. Xavi, I've talked a lot about Xavi and sung his praises here, but that's a cruel move. This is a guy trying to get some confidence, and if you didn't like the play, to pull him at the half. Look, none of your team played well. What's the scouting report on Ousmane Dembele? To try and hit the ball on frame because he was hitting it into row Z, as they say. Langley? I thought I didn't care for that at all. Now he's messed up his head. Now you've messed up his head. And he should probably leave Barcelona. But then Xavi said, nah, he's not a Barcelona guy. Now he said, well, I've coached him a bit. Now he is a Barcelona guy. And now we're back here again. Oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. The goalkeeping situation, we talked about it last week. Check out that video. Our top 3, I think that is without any argument. Zach Steffen, backup at Manchester City. Matt Turner, backup at Arsenal when he gets there, but injured right now. Ethan Horvath, backup at Nottingham Forest, who could get promoted, but he's lost that spot. Reports that he might be coming to MLS for Atlanta United. That'd be great. This is why we got to really lean into Major League Soccer. So many of you on the comments talk to me about that MLS stinks. Well, it may be our only option. Maybe we have to look at a goalkeeper there, like we talked about. Because backup goalkeepers aren't going to make big saves at the World Cup. Maybe they can, but I don't feel confident about it. So that's a problem. That's a big problem on top of other problems. I'm trying to find... Look, there were some bright spots. Brendan Aronson coming back and doing well. That's bad. Jordan Pefok. Let's talk about the center forwards. The only forward that's performing, and Jesus Ferreira is performing, although he didn't score this weekend, is Jordan Pefok. And he doesn't seem to be the right fit for the national team. If he was, great. He keeps scoring for Young Boys Burn. But it's not there. We saw it in the last World Cup cycle at the Azteca. You're like, get him out of there. It's just not the right fit. The other forwards, problems. Ricardo Pepi. We talked about his situation at Augsburg. It's gotten worse. And what makes it worse is he's not playing, but the guys that he's playing behind are scoring goals and keeping Augsburg in the top flight, which could be good for Pepi long term. But he would come off the bench here and there, but now he's not even coming off the bench for Augsburg, who beat Bochum. Love saying Bochum. He has not scored a club goal, Ricardo Pepi, since September 29th of last year for either FC Dallas or Augsburg. Has not scored a goal for Augsburg. He's a teenager. You got to be patient, but they spent a lot of money. I'm sure Augsburg's not happy. They wanted some results, and they're not getting it. Pepi was moved out wide, played his best moments. I think it's going to get better. It's going to get better for Ricardo Pepi. But 632 minutes since scoring a goal. That's our number one, right? Jossie Zardes is out of the picture. He's being traded. Daryl Dike went to West Bromwich Albion, got injured, and West Brom plummeted. Not his fault, obviously. But the coach that brought him to West Brom is out. So what does that mean for Daryl Dike? Because that coach was behind him. Steve Bruce coming in. I don't know about Steve Bruce. Very traditional, old-fashioned type of manager. I would imagine he would like Daryl Dike, but he said he's going to assess Daryl Dike like everyone else in the offseason. Daryl Dike, to me, is a wild card that could be that number 9, but he's not playing, and he might be with the wrong team. They did spend a lot to bring him in. I would imagine Steve Bruce is going to have to find a way to play him, but he's going to play in the championship because they're not going to be promoted, when it looked like they had a really good shot when Dike moved over. You can talk about Josh Sargent. You're just waiting. Norwich are going to be relegated. Does he stay there? That's fine if he's in the championship, but he's not been a factor with regards to the striker position. It's there's really no silver lining here. This is all pretty Jordan Pefok, but it's not the right fit. I hope it can become the right fit, but that's the only guy. Everyone else is kind of laboring in lower divisions, and Jesus Ferreira's I hope he can get hot because he would be in Europe. He could be in Europe by next season because he's got that kind of talent. He's ready to go. Germany's been a problem for our players. Joe Scally's now a reserve by and large at Borussia Mönchengladbach, our fullback. We have George Bello. He's playing at Arminia Bielefeld. We talked about Chris Richards at Hoffenheim. He's going to go. His loan's going to end. He might go back to Bayern. I don't know what that means. Justin Che, owned by Bayern at Hoffenheim, has not played a lick. Not ready for Europe, apparently. We have Brian Reynolds. I mean, such an incredible talent, nowhere to be found. Kevin Paredes went from DC United to Wolfsburg, and we know about the rich history, sarcasm there, of Wolfsburg and American players and how they haven't been given the right opportunities, the right coaching. Well, this is starting to look like the same thing. Paredes is a young player, but not playing for Wolfsburg. What do we make of it? Doesn't get off that bench. It's problematic. It's going to get better. I can tell you that. This feels like hitting bottom with the performance of so many. It'll start coming up, but remember these European leagues stop, and then we wait the offseason to see what happens with all these players. McKennie and Pulisic and Dest, Brendan Aronson, Matthew Hoppe, who's talked about maybe going to Atlanta United. That would make a lot of sense. I think a lot of these players are going to come back to Major League Soccer, so I would reiterate, get used to watching MLS if you're a men's national team player, because I think a good chunk of the players at the World Cup are going to be in that league. I wanted to be the bearer of some good news. This is the way it is. It's the way it is. Miles Robinson, we'll see. Walker Zimmerman, like Yunus Musa playing with some regularity. Tyler Adams playing. He started this weekend, but not all the time. It's a predicament, but we'll see if we can battle it out of this situation. But there we go. I wanted to bring it up because this is a good news video. I'm saying for all the times we hated a Winter World Cup, it's now looking like it's a good thing. Because here we are at the end of April. World Cup in a normal year would have started maybe the second week of June. So we're talking 5 weeks. This situation, 5 weeks out, yay! So here we stand. Here we stand as we look towards what's coming up. We'll continue with the videos. Somebody has to step up at goalkeeper. Somebody has to step up at number 9. I was talking about Gaga Slonina again. He got shelled this weekend. I'm like, and when he didn't get shelled, he's not facing any shots. How can we assess him if he's not facing any shots? The Soccer OG, check out the Soccer OG podcast where all podcasts are available. New pod out now, and here, of course, on the videos. Hopefully some good news next week. Hopefully Pulisic starts scoring. Hopefully he gets to the FA Cup. He's out of the Champions League. And Weston McKennie comes back sooner than later. But keep your eyes out. because this thing could go pear-shaped at any moment. Talk to you soon.